Hi, this is Alex from Pandectes. This is a tutorial on how to use the Autoblocker from Pandectes. But first, let me explain why the Autoblocker is needed in the first place. Imagine two scopes of cookies. The first scope is the one from Shopify. It contains all of the cookies from Shopify itself, from the sales channels of Shopify, as well as the third-party apps that listen to Shopify's customer privacy API. Assuming you have set up your banner like we show in the video that you can see in the pop-up banner up there right now, if you still have non-strictly necessary cookies fired prior to consent on your store, then these cookies fall under a different category. This category consists of third-party apps that do not listen to Shopify's customer privacy API. Shopify does not have access to the scripts that create these cookies, so it cannot physically block them. And that's where Pandectes comes in with the Autoblocker feature, which does exactly that. So now, with a good understanding of the Autoblocker, let's see how to actually utilize it. First, we can go to our store and make sure to open it in an incognito window. Then click on Inspect Element and open the DevTools. In the Application tab or Storage tab under Cookies, we can see all the cookies that are firing on our store. As you can see, I haven't yet clicked on Accept, and there are many cookies that are here that do not belong to the strictly necessary cookies in a category. How to check this? We can go to the Scan Report, click on View Report, and we can see under which category each cookie falls under. So let's check what each cookie does. Let's start from the CLID and MUID. As you can see, these cookies come from a different domain than my actual domain. If the cookie is made by a domain different than yours, we can add it to the Autoblocker. How to do this? Navigate to Settings, Autoblocker, and select the apps that you are using that are setting cookies from different domains than your actual domain. If you do not see the app that is setting the cookies in the list, it means we will have to add a custom rule for it. For example, this one is created by Microsoft's Clarity. We can go to the Autoblocker, activate it, and add a custom rule. Click on Add New, name it Clarity, or the name of the service that is setting the cookie. In the URL domain section, we paste in the domain that is setting this cookie. In our case, it's clarity.ms. And for the provider, type the name of the provider and click Enter. Under the category, we select a category of this cookie. Since Clarity sets cookies for performance, we select the performance category and click Save. Now, if we clear cookies and reload the store, we can see that all the Clarity cookies have disappeared before accepting. If I click Accept, they will of course reappear here. Now that we do not have cookies that are being set by a different domain than ours, we can go to each cookie and cross-reference it with the Scan Report from Pandectes. If the cookie is not strictly necessary, you can add it to the Autoblocker. For example, we check CMPA and cross-reference it with the CMPA from our Scan Report and see that it is actually strictly necessary. So this does not set a problem. After checking all these cookies, which are strictly necessary, we find a cookie, Omnisend Session ID, which is being set by Omnisend. And as we can see here, it's for targeting. And since it is for targeting, it needs to be blocked prior to consent. However, we do not have access to the domain from here. You can see it's being set by our domain. So how can we know from where this cookie is being loaded? Let's copy the name of the cookie, navigate to the Network tab, click Ctrl F or Command F to search, and paste in the name of the cookie. After we click on the search button, we can see the scripts that place this cookie on our store. After clicking on one of the highlighted texts and clicking on headers, we can see that this script is being loaded by omnisnippet1.com, which is different from our domain. So we can copy this domain and add it as a custom rule to our Autoblocker. Notice, and be careful with this, if I click on the first one, the headers, it's actually my own domain. So we do not want to block anything from our own domain and create conflicts. Be careful with that. Make sure you're only blocking third-party domains. So let's also add Omnisend as a custom rule. Go to Settings, Autoblocker, Custom Rules again, Add New, name it Omnisend, copy the URL or the domain, provider Omnisend. It's the same exact thing that we did previously. Add the category for targeting, since we saw in the scan report it's for targeting, and click on Save. Now, if we go to Application, clear our cookies, and reload the page, Omnisend cookies no longer appear. And from what I can see, only strictly necessary cookies fire prior to consent now. So now we have a GDPR compliant banner. If you get stuck along the way or need any help, don't hesitate to contact our support team.